Reunion. Hello, y'all. I was selling crack on a private jet up in the hell and back. But no confusion, this a reunion. Hello, y'all. Welcome back. Get murder here. He counting money. He said, "Can man, the hell with rap. I'm only here to shit on niggas and piss on bitches. Welcome, ass. I bought jewelry and bikes, nigga. Black Benzes and white Vickers. Now I'm out here and I'm looking for more chandeliers and light fixtures. Nah, I don't like niggas. What's wrong with me? I'm a hype nigga, but this 44 turn to Michael Jordan. I look and say, take flight.
Welcome back to It Is What It Is. This episode is sponsored by Underdog. The app is the easiest way to make some cash just by making picks on your favorite players. Underdog is available in over 30 states, including Georgia, Missouri, and Texas, just to name a few. Make sure to support the show by hitting the link in the bio and downloading the Underdog app. Use code MACE, CAM, or STAT to get up to $1,000 in bonus funds with your first deposit. I'm Treasure Wilson, aka Stat Baby, along with your hosts Mace and Cam.
Murder? Man, what's up, man?
It's good, Murder. How you, man? What part of the world you in now?
You wearing pink. Everybody in the hood is wearing pink now.
Yeah.
I don't know who the pink belonged to, killer.
Well, you know who the shit belongs to, person. I don't really wear pink. What Jay say? I wear mauve. What's it called? Fall? What he said, P? Mauve.
Yeah.
This is mauve, Murder. It's fuchsia. It's fuchsia, man. I don't do pink no more, man.
Fuchsia, yeah.
It's fuchsia, man. How you?
You look clean, man. I'm doing great, man.
Where you at?
Really good, man.
What part of the world you in, though?
Right now I'm in Atlanta, but I'm about to be out west tomorrow.
All right. You still feeling like Indiana's your team?
Great question.
Yeah.
Well, you know, Titletown is a state of mind. It's always on the move. Killer, right. You know this. You know.
All right.
You get moved from place to place.
All right.
You know, summer school is still open. People are enrolling. Haliburton, I can't say he's, the Haliburton anymore. That's not how, Haliburton Bin Laden supposed to go out, they told me something, Ken. When people show you who you are, believe them, Yesterday, he showed me a different side.
You've been seeing who he was the past how many games?
Nigga here, bro.
Before you made your decision?
No, see, nothing like in my life, man. Stat, go ahead, man.
Damn.
Bro, we got a job to do, Murder. Let's just get to the Murder. Let's just get to the game, bro.
Gotta believe him.
All right.
See, I like hearing this.
Damn. No. Let's stay here. If you going somewhere with somebody, you believe they're one way, and then they show you something different, are you still holding on to the last thing you said? Or are you accepting the new thing they shown you? Pause.
No.
You ready?
That's a good question. That's a good question, though, Mace. I'll answer it before we move on. You are only as good as your last performance. So
both of you need to answer this.
All right, well, let me ask you. So fine, let me ask you a question. If I bet you want to do it, let's do it. You want to do it? Let's do it.
Yeah.
Bet.
Okay.
Why did you go back to Bad Boy and hang out with niggas after they showed you who they was in LA? Why'd you go back over there?
Why did I go back over there?
Yeah, they showed you. Just said you leave once you niggas show you who they is.
Where?
Bro, we talked about it on the last show. When niggas did in LA, you went back to the label and put projects out. Why did you go out hanging out with them niggas if they showed you who they was already?
If you look at the label, it says For Real. That's where Nelly came from.
Okay, bro. You're spinning. Can we just get to the game? Stat, can we get to the game? Like
we can.
No, let's see here. You asked me questions. You really want to ask
one question each?
Yeah, go ahead, Murder.
Yeah. Yo, and Stat, where are all your girlfriends? if we're going here, when people show you stuff, you got to make a new move. Put the camera on Stat. Stat, is that right?
The camera's on me. No? You're right. As I said, you're only as good as your last performance.
Because Cam is right there. Cam is not your friend.
You wouldn't even know her if it wasn't for me, bro. You wouldn't even know. You would have never met her anything, bro.
Cam is not your friend. Let me just start there. Cam is not your friend.
So Mase, who's yours?
Yeah. What?
Who's yours?
Who's my team?
Team, friend, both.
Nah, don't start that stat. I ain't never say they was my friend now. What are we talking about?
We're gonna get to the game. We're gonna get to the game. But good questions. I just wanted to hear what y'all had to say. So
I can't believe Cam tried that.
Yo, you said, yo, my nigga, I'm just saying what you said. I was repeating what you said. Once niggas show you who you are, you can't fuck with niggas no more. But you was fucking with niggas after they showed you who they was. I just was trying to go off with your definition.
Cam, you was doing the same thing. You wasn't fooling with him. You was getting the money that belonged to you.
Murder, I didn't say what you said. I'm going by what you said. I never said, I went and got money with niggas I didn't like. You right. You're absolutely right. Yeah. But I didn't say, you said you stop fucking with niggas once they show you who they are. So you're contradicting the statement.
No. Let me tell you
say that
something,
stat.
Cam.
You did.
You know the Harlem rule, Cam.
Game 5. Okay. Speaking on Mace's team /friend /pick, the Thunder beat the Pacers 120-109 to take a 3-2 series lead. Mase, in your opinion, what really made the difference in this game versus the last?
Wait, now y'all saying these my friends? That's why I'm lost today. What is Indiana now my friends?
I mean, if you give him a nickname, I feel like that
makes
him a friend.
Did you watch the game? Did you watch the game at all? Or you just... Because it seemed like you're trying to duck get into the game for some reason. Did you see the game?
I saw the game,
okay.
And they lost. That's why I said I can't call him Haliburton. I can't even use the name no more. You can't get 4 points, and be called Haliburton. That doesn't go with that. This team looked discombobulated. They looked like they wasn't ready for the moment. It looked like Indiana came out, and now you got people like Toppins thinking he's the go-to guy, jacking up threes. And the thing is, it works when it works, right? But when it doesn't work, it makes you look at them like, what are you doing? And it just looked like, when they was playing against them, their moment was way too big for them. It's like a whole different team when they got on the road this time than the first game. When they won their first game or so, it looked like they was going in a different direction. But this don't even look like the same team. Even coaching wise, it didn't look the same. They look like they're trying out stuff. But I can't put it on Carlisle because I do understand that he may be trying something so they could win the next 2 games, that if he would have tried this game, it wouldn't have worked. So I'm going to trust Carlisle when it goes to this. And I'm even going to stick with Indiana. Like I said, I want them to win, but I already knew OKC should win it.
Look, I think...
How you going to lose? How you going to lose, Killer, if the backcourt got almost 80 points? You know that. In basketball, there's absolutely no way you're going to win. Team got almost 80. You got Jay Will looking like he was trying to be James Harden last night. It was just crazy, man. I think he's became a star in this series.
Yeah, listen, I'm not going to discredit the fact that Tyrese Haliburton got hurt in the first quarter. So when he got hurt in the first quarter and he missed some time and then he came back in the middle of the second quarter, he was hobbled the rest of the game. I want to give him a lot of credit for even finishing the game, but, your season's on the line. What do you have a choice to do? So that's really the big question, getting ready to go into Game 6. Tyrese Haliburton's health moving forward. But I think the Pacers did a good job considering that he was hobbled. He didn't have any field goals. He didn't only have 4 points like Murder alluded to. But he was definitely hobbled. But what can you do if your point guard, who's third team All-NBA, is hobbled? But I think they did a sensational job. It was a point to maybe like 5 minutes left in the game. Indiana was down by 2 points. But then OKC just swarmed them niggas. They was like fucking piranhas, and they had turnover after turnover after turnover. They were down 2, then they ballooned the lead. Then OKC got the lead to 5, then it turned into 8, then it was back up to 12. But one thing about Indiana, and I was watching this throughout the whole game, is that you can't, 15-point leads aren't safe with them. 12-point leads aren't safe with them. And when OKC wasn't getting the lead up to 20 points, I was saying that this could potentially be a close game. I think Siakam did a marvelous job. You can't ask Siakam to do any more than he's been doing throughout these whole playoffs. I think he's been underrated, actually, the last couple of years, the way we've been seeing him play, because Indiana's in a small market. But he's been playing great. But the key factor was J-Dub. 40 points, and we talked about this on a couple shows ago, if it wasn't the last show. We were saying that, listen, we know what Shea's going to do. We know he's a walking 32, 34 points, but they're swarming, they're double teaming. Somebody's going to have to step up, whether it's J-Dub or Chet. Chet be looking frail. I don't know what they're going to do with Chet moving forward. He's decent playing the 4 and 5, but I think they really need to move him to the 3, 4, and don't put him at center and get another power forward there, because he's looking frail in certain situations. But J-Dub was playing downhill all day, running, not settling for threes, even though he hit a couple, but he's playing downhill and he's going to the basket. And that took a lot of pressure off Shea. We said that Shea needs a Scottie Pippen. Who's going to step up? Would it be J-Dub? And J-Dub did it last night. But will he do it again Thursday night to put Indiana away? Me personally, I think Indiana, if Tyrese, all depending on Tyrese Haliburton's health, that I think Indiana is going to win if he's at least 85% healthy, and we're going to go to 7 games. That's my prediction for the next game. But I thought it was a great game. They just got swarmed at the end.
Okay, and then Mase, I
want to also say I think Indiana is doing something that's really like elementary when it comes to basketball. They keep setting up their offense way too high. It's like it's almost at half court. And every time they kept doing this, I started wondering, like, why are they doing this? This is not the sign of a smart point guard, even though he has all of the attributes as a, just when it comes to being creative, but it's like the IQ. A lot of reasons why they keep making turnovers is because they're breaking one of the cardinal rules of being a point guard, and that's giving up your dribble. You keep your dribble if you got the ball in your hand. There's no reason to pick the ball up and let somebody pressure you if you could dribble. Just put them on your hip, and that's the first thing you learn in basketball. One of the things as a point guard is just put them on your hip and just dribble with the ball, so when somebody comes open, you could pass off the dribble. That's where they're creating all of these turnovers that they're getting in against OKC. And it's very elementary. I don't see how they keep doing it.
So also Mase, to Cam's point, so we saw that Haliburton obviously is playing through an injury. How do you kind of see this affecting the next game? Then do you see it going to a game 7 as well?
I always knew that it would end in 6 games. That's what I always believe. I believe this series will end in 6 games. I still believe it'll end in 6 games. I was just hoping that it end in 6 for Indiana. No, I'm sticking with 6 games. Even if it switches to OKC, it's still going to be 6 games.
Mase, your original pick was OKC. That's how crazy that you bugging. You don't even remember that your original pick was OKC.
I do, but I wanted Indiana to try to get it in 6. If they'd have won the last game, then this is where we would be at. You know what I'm saying? The last 2 games they could have won.
Yeah. So your pick, who's your team? I'm confused. Who are you going with in this series? Because you picked mad different teams.
Yeah, I want Indiana to win, but OKC will win it.
Okay.
I've been consistent. That's what I had on tape. OKC will win it, but I want Indiana to win. I think it would be kind of cool, but if they're not doing the things necessary, they're not going to win. That's common sense. Like if he's hobbled, but he's out.
OJ looking down, but grasp for the obvious, man.
Yeah.
That's why.
That's what I like to stick with. If you look at somebody like Haliburton, right? Like you guys say, I just think differently. If he's out there for 34 minutes, but he's hurt, he shouldn't be out there. I don't like to hear excuses if you're on the floor. If you're on the floor, you should be playing. If you can't play, get off the floor. That's understandable. But don't take up 34 minutes and then say you was hurt. If you hurt, I was taught to play through hurt.
He never said,
you don't play injury.
The whole thing about it, and to his credit, he didn't say he was hurt. We all seen him get hurt, and he came back and played. He didn't make no excuses. He wasn't crying. And I agree with that concept. If you out there, you out there. There's no excuses. I totally agree with that 100%. Yeah, but I'm just saying it isn't like we can ignore that we've seen him get hurt. I give him credit for coming back, actually.
Okay. I'm going to just put it out there so it's on the record. I know that they're playing in Indiana. I kind of see OKC winning the next game. That's kind of where my head's at. If J-Dub keeps playing the way that he's going, if Chet just puts a little bit more pressure, and if Haliburton is still hurt, that's what I'm leaning towards. But we'll see. A Game 7 would be nice, but I think that they might close it out. So we'll see what happens. Okay.
Yeah,
so
hopefully they win the game because the ratings is horrible. This is... What would you say, Killer? Is this the worst rating
it's bad.
NBA Finals ever?
It's about 20-some years that the ratings been this bad. I'm not going to lie. You're 100% correct with that. The ratings, when I was checking a few days ago, it's been about 20-something years that for NBA Finals that the ratings been this bad. Yeah, you're absolutely right with that.
Yeah, we're over it. So whoever's going to win, just go ahead and win it, man. We tired of watching. If it was the Knicks, I'd be more intrigued.
That's fair. Okay, so obviously this finals has been a lot of, interesting things to see, down to the ratings, even to now where they actually aired the starting lineup introductions, which they haven't done in the finals since 2013. So, Mase, in your opinion, do you think that this should be incorporated back into the finals where they show the player starting lineup introductions? And then why do you think they decided to do it for this game in particular?
Adam Silver is rolling the dice right now. He's trying to figure out what is it that I could do to get people back interested in watching this game. If you look at the finals, like we say, the ratings are lowest than they ever been. So he's just throwing things against the wall to see what sticks. Let's see if they actually are interested in something else that we bring to the table. Maybe this will work. In every game, that's what he got to do until they figure it out, because I think this is one of the first times in a long time that we've seen two blue-collar states playing for the championship. It's been a long time, probably way back to the ABA.
And the question is, what I think about them niggas announcing.
Yeah, the lineup. Like, do you think they should bring it back, and why do you think they did it for this game?
Because Mase, I gotta agree. I don't really like agreeing with Mase, but I gotta agree with Mase. This shit is stupid. Like, when I grew up, I didn't mind watching the teams come out, especially Michael Jordan come out, the Huddle Magic, a little older, so I used to enjoy it. This just seems like reaching when they just trying to find shit to do. Like, we've seen so it's not just the finals. The NBA ratings are down the last couple years, period, across the board. Not just the playoffs. Knicks, now don't get it wrong, the Knicks had it lit. I ain't gonna lie. That's why Sin be bugging when they say that the NBA is hating on them. The Knicks play, the ratings are good. Outside of that, the NBA ratings around the board have been terrible. And we see all the wild shit that Adam Silver is trying to come up with because he's trying to save the brand. Not that the NBA is going anywhere, but they want to make sure that it's a great product that they're putting out. You sitting there talking about possibly a 4-point line. What are we talking about when nigga talking about they may do a 4-point line? Now, all of a sudden, hey, let's do USA against the world, the All-Star game, because the All-Star game done been trashed so many years that nobody gives a fuck. Nobody cares about the 3-point contest. Nobody cares about the dunk contest. So I think Adam Silver comes up with different things to try to be creative, to try to get viewership up. Is showing the starting lineup going to get viewership up? You got to think about it, Murder. Nigga be like, and out of Western Illinois, a 6'4" guard, Aaron Nesmith. Nah, his name ain't ringing bells like that. I'll fuck with Nesmith, but he's not one of them niggas that you gonna get excited about when he run out in the huddle. A 6'4" guard from Canada, Nimhart. Nah, niggas ain't running. No, he reaching. He reaching, and they looking for solutions to get viewership up because viewership is just terrible. Do I care? Not really. No. If the answer could be the answer to the question.
Yeah, what they need to do is get the music back. The reason why we used to like even the Bulls when they come out, it was the music, man. You gotta get your intro together, man.
Yeah, it's really just a collection of everything, from the music, from the players to the game to the location. Like, it's just not hitting. And just to get the exact numbers for you guys, so game one averaged 8.91 million viewers, making it the least watched game one since 1988 outside of the COVID games. So people are watching, and
niggas said this series is sponsored by COVID. Shit is crazy. Niggas said that this series is sponsored by COVID-19. Nobody's watching this shit, bro.
So they don't have to figure it out.
Niggas said since 88. I thought it was like since the 90s. 88 is wild.
Yeah, since the Nielsen meter era, which is since 1988. So yeah, it's crazy.
It's bad.
They trying to figure it out though. So you said what, Mase?
Who's playing in?
19.
See, Mase, if you don't know that, that's crazy. Are you trying to be giving her a quiz?
No.
We giving her a quiz?
You can't say because he said, huh? That means it's not a quiz. So.
I don't know. Mase was playing ball in 88. That's what I'm saying. We was playing against each other.
I know what happened in 88. Nigga, that was my year.
I was just saying. I didn't know if you was quizzing her or not.
88? 80, 88, 90. Dude, you got to know everything them years. Come on, man. Go do your homework.
Thank you, Mase. That's why I am a student of Title Challenge Summer School. We learn more and more every day. Okay, so as we know, Thursday is Game 6. Underdog has SGA at 33.5 points. Do you have him higher or lower, Mase?
Going higher, actually.
That's a good one. That's a good one because, watching J-Dub tonight, I don't think J-Dub's going to do that again. I hope he does it. I hope he don't have SGA trying to pull another rabbit out his hat. That looked like a special night. If he, like you said, Stat, if he's consistent, J-Dub, that is, Oklahoma City, even though they're dangerous, they could be really, 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 really dangerous for years to come. But I'm going to go higher. I think SGA want to finish this thing off, whether they do or not. He gonna put the team on his back. But the thing about it is, and that's why everybody has to step up, whether it be J-Dub, Wiggins off the bench, Dort, they are picking SGA up full court. And that's the thing. He's exerting a lot of energy trying to dribble up past Nembhard full court. And even when he's not bringing the ball up, somebody else trying to run the offense is just not as effective as him. The moral of the story is I think he'll play through all that, so I'm going to go with higher.
Okay. Jalen Williams is at 1.5 3-pointers made. Do you have him higher or lower, Cam?
Higher.
Definitely higher.
Okay. And Haliburton, Mase, your player, 26.5 points, rebounds, and assists. Do you have him higher or lower, Mase?
I wish he'd go higher. But
everything with Indiana is I wish and I hope. Everything with Indiana since the series started, murder is I wish and I hope. What's up with Indiana, dog? Like, when you hoping all this shit?
It would be interesting if they could actually pull it off. It would be great for the city. It would be great for Caitlin Clark, the rest of Indiana sports, And it'll, from one time, you could say a team is better than the Indiana Hoosiers. They need another team in that demographics.
What's the answer, Mase? Is it higher or lower?
Lower.
Okay.
I'm agreeing. I'm going lower. Halliburton's too inconsistent. Should he have it? Yeah, he should, but who knows?
Okay, make sure y'all download the Underdog app and you can make your picks too. Real quick before you get into the next question, just concerning Haliburton, because you said the term he's inconsistent. Do you think, and I know he's still building his legacy, do you guys think that this is kind of messing that up for him, or you still feel like he has time? Because we always say, players have time, or you say that some players don't. But what's you guys' opinion on that? Mase first.
Okay, when it comes to his legacy, I think this is the summer he'll hit the weights and get stronger. And actually, one of the player personnels will get him to dribble the ball and keep dribbling while people are pressuring you and don't pick the ball up. It's like two simple things he can do that can make him a better player and have a greater legacy. So I think he'll make those changes when it comes to the off season, and he'll have a pretty good legacy. This won't catapult anything. I mean, cap off anything.
I actually kind of agree with him. I think that he'll work on his mistakes throughout the summer, watch a lot of film because he's realizing that he's right there to be the superstar or, he's already all-star, but take it to the next level. I'll just leave it at that. And not just that, he's proven a lot of people wrong already, the most underrated player by his peers. Nobody thought that the Knicks, that they would beat the Knicks. They thought they would probably get swept, if not swept, lose to 5 to OKC. Indiana and Haliburton has proven a lot. So I think that they'll do a lot of studying and as a team, but Haliburton will work on the things like Mase said to make sure he gets to the next level next season.
We're going to go to break. When we return, another little crazy trade. We'll discuss when we're back.
She called this thing about toxic. 4 years and counting. Got you feeling like an option. Maybe I'm my own problem, babe. She tired of hearing I don't know. My stubborn in me won't fall. Dealing with this thing called trust. But she really thinking about it. She wanna be free.
Welcome back. So the Grizzlies traded Desmond Bane to the Orlando Magic for Kentavious Caldwell-Pope, Cole Anthony, 4 unprotected first-round picks, and 1 first-round pick swap. Mase, does this trade make sense to you? And who do you think benefits the most, the Grizzlies or the Magic?
Actually, definitely, I think the Grizzlies benefit more. I think it'll help the Orlando Magic because they was that close to being a playoff team, and they actually went to the playoffs. But really being able to move through the playoffs, I think Bane will help them out tremendously. And when you got players that are coming out and you're not that sure of the players that you'll be able to get, sometimes it makes sense to put in all of those trades. All of those players and add it to the player that you wanted. So it really helps them a lot, but I don't think it helps nearly as much as it's going to help the Grizzlies, because when you think of the Grizzlies getting somebody like Cole Anthony to come off the bench, or maybe he starts, I don't know what they're thinking about. Maybe they put Ja at the 2, what they're thinking about, but they're actually going to benefit tremendously from this trade. And then having all those picks, let's say they get somebody that's a steal, and they're swapping picks, so that means they're gonna have another chance to get another player. And when I never thought it really worked for them to have Ja and Bang at the same time. I think they don't really complement each other. They keep the backcourt really small, and I think this is moving in a better direction.
I don't really give a fuck, to be honest with you. Whatever, either one of them niggas. Caldwell Pope should have just stayed in Denver. Now, don't get me wrong. He wanted to get that chicken. See, me and Sin have this argument all the time, and I argue with the niggas, Sin, and Sin do be right sometimes, but I just like arguing with niggas. Niggas like Bruce Brown and Caldwell Pope, I know they got their ring, and this is an argument just around the league. Sometimes when you get your ring, you like, I got a ring, I want to go get my money. Sometimes you got the money, want to get a ring. For example, right, we talk about Bruce Brown and Caldwell Pope, who was very key components on that Denver Nugget team. They got the ring and they went out to go get more bread. Then you got somebody like James Harden, who turned down $103 million for 2 years to chase a ring, and he didn't get the ring. So sometimes niggas is trying to do what's best for their career. But if you think about somebody like Caldwell Pope, you should stay in Denver. We didn't even hear about him in Orlando. He was missing. The nigga averaged 8.7 points per game when he was in Orlando. He was missing. Bang.
what I feel when Bang and Bane, pardon me, in Memphis, I think that niggas and the owners and the GMs in Memphis is like, the gig is up. Because Memphis was right there. 2-3 years ago, we were, or maybe 2-3, maybe 4 years ago now, we were like, Memphis is going to be crazy. They took, it was the semi-conference finals, when they took Golden State to the limit. They was actually winning, and then Ja got hurt. Remember, Jordan Poole grabbed his knee, and then Golden State went on to win the championship. But niggas was like, yo, when Ja get back, Memphis gonna be a problem. What do? They give Bang 5-year deal, $200 million. That's your man? Bet. This would be, because it looked like it was gonna be cool. And then everything just went on the downslope. Ja getting caught with the hammer. Then he gets suspended. Then get caught with the hammer again. Then he's out. And then all a myriad of different things. Motherfucking Dylan Brooks fucking with LeBron. LeBron sent him home. They got Dylan Brooks out of there. And I agree with Mase. That backcourt is really too small to succeed, but it looked like it could have been something. And it just turned out not to be what they thought it was going to be. Now you're dealing with this in the West Coast. You're dealing with Ant-Man and the Minnesota Timberwolves, who are not going anywhere. You're dealing with the youngest team in the NBA in the championship right now, talking about OKC, and they're not going anywhere. And when I think about just those two teams, and then, of course, we think about Luka, potentially what San Antonio can do. Listen, when I think about just those two players, Anthony Edwards and Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, Ja Morant was head and shoulders above both of those players at one particular time. That time, Ja doing the gritty and all that shit, doing the gritty, that he sent Ant-Man home that year. Or when that was when the year they beat Minnesota. He was doing the gritty on their floor. Told her, yo, you be all right, nigga. And treated Ant-Man like a little, you be all right. Now, Ant-Man just soared and became a mega star, and it seems like Ja's on the back burner, even with the antics. Shooting niggas, grenades, it's all type of other shit, but basketball, even though we know he could still be that type of nigga, but the antics are in there with it. I don't, if I had to pick who is going to help more, I would say Orlando, because Orlando's a decent team in the East, but Desmond Bane is not going to get them over the hump in the East. Let's think about the East. We got Boston. We don't know where they're going to be at next year, because I don't know when Jason Tatum's coming back. But then we think about if Joel Embiid is going to be healthy. Because Joel Embiid wasn't healthy this year, people just wrote Philly off. And we got to remember, my one gripe with Joel Embiid, I only have one gripe with him, that he doesn't go to Denver to fucking play the Joker in Denver. But he's the league MVP last year. We got to remember that. So if Paul George get the fuck off the podcast, we know what Tyrese Maxey going to do. And got Joel Embiid, Philly could be right back in the mix. Then we know what New York is going to do at the same time. Now we're looking at the Pacers. Orlando, I'm not sure, because let's not forget about the Cavaliers. Desmond Bane is not doing anything to improve them to be better than the teams I just named in the East. So that's why I said I don't really give a fuck about the trade. Whatever.
I will say for Orlando fans, it definitely does not make them better than the teams in the East, but it is a step in the right direction, because Desmond Bane is averaging like 19 or 20 points per game, which is going to help them offensively, because I feel like Paulo and even like Franz Wagner were like carrying the team. Like KCP, like you mentioned earlier, Willie wasn't putting up that many points. He had about the same as Anthony Black, who was drafted like 2 years ago. So I do think it's going to help the Magic's core. But in general, as far as the trade, I just felt like what they gave up for him was just a lot. 4 unprotected first round, and I know they're unprotected, but I still just don't know if that makes fully sense to me. But then at the same time, it's like, what else were they going to give up for him? Because he is a key piece for the Grizzlies as well.
Unprotected is worse than protected.
Yeah. So that's why I'm like, it just sounds like a lot in general. So I do think it's a good step in the right direction for the Magic. I think that they have some things to be excited about. They still have some pieces missing, but as far as the future, I think it's going to help them. But I do just feel like it was a lot. So we'll see what happens for the Magic. Because then again, they were out in the first round of the playoffs to the Celtics. Respectfully, we knew you guys were not going to win against the Celtics. but it could shuffle next year, be a different type of team. So
they're not being the Celtics if Jason Tatum is available for the playoffs. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, that too. But you guys still have something to be excited about for Magic fans out there. I will.
The whole thing about it is this. I'm just going to be on the record and say this. This is Floridian shit. No, you're not going to be all right. You're not going to the chip. Yo, this is the shit that Florida people try to say. You're not going to the chip. You're not going to the Eastern Conference Finals. If she's trying to motivate y'all, she's lying. There's some Florida shit going on. Y'all not going to you're not making the Eastern Conference Finals. You're not. You're not better than the Pacers. You're not better than Cleveland. We'll see what happens with Philly. You're not better than the Knicks. And I don't know where Giannis is going to end up. But if he stays in Milwaukee, I don't even know if you're better than Milwaukee with a healthy Damian Lillard. No, you're not going anywhere next year. Maybe the second round, possibly. And the Pacers.
I mean, this was good for the Grizzlies because they got rid of $200 million off the books.
I agree with that.
They could potentially make a move this summer.
Yeah, they definitely unload the salary cap.
Definitely find somebody else.
Now you're right, Murder. That's a great point. You got $200 million off the books, and then Caldwell Pope's deal was only 3 years for $66 million. So you're 100% correct with that.
Yeah, and for the type of player that Ja is, Ja need Caldwell Pope. He needs somebody who can hit the three consistently as a spot-up shooter the way he goes crazy to the basket. When you got somebody like Bane who have to create the basket, just like he has to create the basket, it's not as good as a compliment as it will be with Caldwell Pope.
Well, we'll see what happens. I'm a little optimistic. I'm not saying they're going to make it to the finals or even the second round, but it's just a step in the right direction. I'll say that on the record. Okay, moving along. Russell Westbrook has declined his player option for next season with the Nuggets and will become an unrestricted free agent on June 30th. Westbrook's player option was worth $3.5 million. Mase, what do you see happening next for him?
I was just reading about this. I heard that they were offering Russell Westbrook the most money that they would ever pay a player to play overseas. I think he should take the money overseas. If they're willing to pay you the type of money I was thinking about, the money I was reading about, it just makes more sense to play overseas at this point. Why just keep jumping from team to team, getting $2 million? And it's still $1 million, but after taxes, what's $2 million? That's no money, man. So for a person like Russell Westbrook, I know I'm not counting his pockets. He got to be good by now. But if they're going to pay you some outlandish kind of money, Killer, would you play overseas if it was your last couple of years in the NBA?
See, the thing about that's a great point, Murder, is that you want to win a championship if you're Russell Westbrook. You've won a league MVP. You averaged 3 seasons averaging a triple-double. You actually played your position on the last couple teams, even when you decide to start coming off the bench with the Clippers. You didn't come off the bench with Denver. He's done everything, and not only that, he gives 110% when he plays. So I understand him on the NBA championship. But to answer your question, Mase, it was $150 million for 3 years. I'm going to get that. It's tax-free. I'm going to get that. I try to do what I can do over here. Let me go grab that on the outro. Grab that 150 tax-free money on the outro. I'm grabbing that, man.
Yeah, but he got to be kicking himself because he went to Denver, and now the team that he originally got drafted by ends up winning the championship. You got to feel a way about that.
Wait, so Mase, what would you do? Would you take the money and go overseas, or would you still be trying to get your ring in the States?
I got a family, so I'm probably going to go with the 150 if they want to go across seas. But, my kid's in college. I'm getting a 150.
Empty nester.
Yo, fam, like just think about it. He's going to probably get a veteran's minimum. Would it be like $2-3 million anyway if he signs somebody else? Mase made a great point, especially depending on what city you in. If he would have stayed with Denver, I don't know what Colorado taxes is like. But let's just say it's like 30-40% and you're in that tax bracket. You had 1.9 for the year without buying a sandwich. I'm going to get the 150 tax-free money, and these seasons is shorter. Just hire a translator and a bad bitch and just go get it, B. Like, that's just me. I can't speak for everybody.
Those are interesting takes. In the comments, let us know what you guys would do. I'm really curious to see if you would take the money and go overseas, or because that's a whole cultural change. Like, you're living. Like, I get the money part, yes, but that changes everything. I don't know.
I want Russ to win a ring, but 150, you got to go get the 150. I mean, unless he's Christian or something and he don't want to leave his church. That's the only thing I can understand. Other than that, he's a businessman. He got to go get the 150.
And don't get me wrong. See, people like, and we can't speak for everybody, because don't get it fucked up. Me with Russell Westbrook made a shitload of money. You know, some niggas is like, yo, I'm good. I'm straight. 150 is 150. It's 150, and they don't have a grueling 82 game season like the NBA does. Go over there and play you a good 49 games and come right back.
And he'll probably make even more money with Team Jordan going over there, because now you're extending the brand. And as you extend the brand, you got more brand visibility. His sneaker even do better by playing in overseas. He's already milked the States. It's time to take it across the water for 150.
I'll just put in my 2 cents. I just feel like he's made so much money in his career. I do feel like winning a ring is priceless. That's what I would say. That's how I'm just like, it's funny when we all answer questions because we all think completely different. That's what I would think. I totally understand the money and I get it. It's just quick little change, maybe come back. But I just feel like every player wants the ring. Like, that's just the one thing you got to get. Then you can do the other things. Yes, Mase.
Most of the guys who win the ring are going to be broke after that. You could buy their ring. Just buy it off of eBay.
Yeah, they're selling NFL championship and the NBA rings on eBay.
Because right now...
Crazy.
Yeah, you're buying a ring because if you stay... You're just jumping on teams anyway. It's not really you winning the ring. You're not a starter.
Yeah, it do look like musical teams. You know what I'm saying? At this point, it's just like, it looks like you're chasing a ring. Whether he is or not, it looks like that.
Okay.
Because let's say he takes $3 million and say, you know what, I want to hire in Oklahoma. Now people are going to be like, word. Russ said he want to retire his number in OKC. What you think Presti is going to say, Killer?
What have you done for us?
Lately.
Period. Not even lately. What you done for us, period.
Fair. Well, we will see what Westbrook does. Of course, the overseas offer is a rumor. It hasn't been confirmed, but it's just being speculated out. And that was supposed to be a $50 million contract, supposedly from the Tel Aviv, but they denied it. So we'll see what happens. He most likely will just stay in the States. So moving along, considering we're talking about changing teams, figuring out where people are going to go. So apparently the Heat, Spurs, and Rockets are KD's preferred options out of Phoenix. It is reported those are the 3 teams Durant would commit to with a long-term extension. He's on an expiring $54.7 million deal for the 2025 to 2026 season. Mase, in this scenario, what do you predict happening for KD?
Yeah, here go KD, another Thunder alumni. I love that team. That was one of my favorite teams. With KD, when you think of Miami, no, I hope he doesn't go to Miami. I would hate to see him go to Miami, especially after LeBron has done that. You definitely don't want to do that. So the only 2 teams I think will be more realistic, unless they're going to just revamp that whole Miami team and get rid of some other people as well. I like him better at the Spurs, but I don't want the Spurs to mess up what they have. You know, I know they got to get rid of somebody, but I would just love to see him, Wemby, and what's the point guard, DeAndre Fox all together. I think it would be a phenomenal team. I think they'll even get Giannis over there if they get KD over there because it'll be that type of party. People always want to play on teams like that.
De'Aaron Fox. And you ain't going to get both because they both under contract, talking about Giannis and KD. So if you trade, it isn't like anybody's a free agent. You even going to get one or the other. And for me, but my opinion is, I don't know. I'm looking at it and I'm sitting there saying to myself, we're talking about the Spurs Heat and
Rockets.
The Rockets, pardon me, Stat. Thank you. Which one? We have to realize KD, of course, he's a walking bucket, a career 28-point average in his whole career. Listen, we know what it is, but we're not going to sit here and act like LeBron, Steph Curry, our superstars of the last generation on the last, in the fourth quarter of their career. Now, KD probably gets played till he's 42, 43, 44. It depends because he could tall. If he stays healthy, he can shoot, he's tall, he got a decent another 6, 7, 8 years. It's up to him. But these teams that we're looking at, the Spurs are good, but this is the question, Murder. And it could be yes. I just don't know. I'm saying, if you put them on any of these teams, let's just use the West Coast team, the Rockets or the Spurs. Now, mind you, you're going to have to give up something to get KD. Will they be better than Minnesota and Oklahoma City? That's the real question. That's what you have to look at moving forward with the West Coast. The Oklahoma City Thunder and the Minnesota Timberwolves with two young studs on their paws are going to carry these two teams to the Western Conference Finals maybe next couple years, unless somebody else has something to say about it. But Mase, you're saying that, yes, KD on one of those two teams could beat those two teams?
No, I'm saying KD on the Spurs is better than Minnesota.
Okay, that's what I'm asking. Yeah.
Necessarily better than OKC. It depends on which Fox we get.
Right.
If Fox is playing well, then they're a real dangerous team. I just believe like when you put both of them, if you could get KD to commit to a pinch of defense with him and Wemby, it'll just be a nightmare because they'll be changing people's shot. Somebody else get a piece of the shot. They'll just be running and looking like that rock star team that everybody been trying to make with three important players.
Gotcha. What about the Rockets?
I don't like KD on the Rockets because they'll have to give up too many good pieces to put them on the Rockets. If you put them on the Rockets, who are you going to give up? Green. Who else? You just have to give up pieces that won't really work without it. Won't work without it. So just who would you give up on the Rockets to get KD? That'll make them still a good team.
The thing about it is, it was what we talked about earlier in the series, and I don't know if you give them up for KD, but because of Jalen Green's performance in the playoffs, I think if you get the right, and I don't know if KD, but I think that Houston is almost probably ready to make a deal for Jalen Green. You know, we thought that he would be the superstar and he had very high potential, you know. We was making, you know, not really, but, you know, we was teasing him for being with the older girl, et cetera, having a baby, but he was playing well. When the playoffs came, he had fucking one game in double digits. Everything else was single digits. So so he's a great piece to trade if you're trying to win now, because he does have a ceiling that he hasn't reached, at my personal opinion. He's 24 years old, something like that. We thought he was going to be Ant-Man's Shai Gilgeous-Alexander style now, and he's not there yet. But that doesn't mean he won't get there. He's young.
Now, you're right, but when you think about putting them on Phoenix don't need another little guard. They got, a 6'3" guard, 6'4" guard. They already got Bradley Beal, and they already got Devin Booker.
He's 6'7" though, but yeah, I feel you on that.
Jalen Green is 6'7"?
Yeah.
Oh.
But I agree with you. I don't know if that works on Phoenix. You're 100%
He's
right.
6'4".
6'4". Pardon me, Murder. You're correct at 6'4". But I agree with you.
And he doesn't play point. He doesn't play point well, so that really you would just be adding another wing player, and you already got Bradley Beal. Unless somehow they could swap out somebody else. Pause. But I wouldn't get rid of Amen. I definitely wouldn't get rid of Amen and the big white boy.
10, 15
I
minutes.
definitely wouldn't get rid of those.
It is what it is. So I'll text you about 5 minutes
the
before.
Big white boy.
I appreciate you. Thank
you.
That's fair, though. I don't think they should give him up either. Sengun has been great for the Rockets.
Sorry.
Yeah, he was looking like the MVP of the team, so you definitely can't get rid of him. How you say his last name?
Sengun.
Yeah, I didn't want to mess his name up, because I'm part of the experts.
Yeah. No Sengun, no Thompson, no Brooks.
Nah.
There just wouldn't be a...
So if you give up Brooks wouldn't be enough to give up KD.
Right. So final answer, do you guys have... I'm just curious if you guys' prediction ends up being correct later on. That's why I like to ask.
Spurs.
Okay.
Spurs. You want to play with Wemby. If you're KD and Wemby will want to play with KD. Those two. You got 2 7-footers on the floor, and you end up getting another one. That team is going to be dominant.
I don't care. I don't. It's too much would have, could have, should have.
Should have, could have, would have.
Yeah, like at this point, KD, my brother, KD is Dipset. KD got a diplomat tattoo. That's my bro. I just want to see him go somewhere where he's going to be beneficial for the team and beneficial for him. Mase said he's going to work on the Spurs. He got a point. I just think that we can't not factor in what's going on now. And then not only that, we have to factor in Wemby's health. Big men always seem to get hurt some type of way. Now, if you got a healthy Wemby 82 games in the playoffs, it's dangerous. It'll be terrific, but that has to happen.
Okay, so last thing before we wrap, we got a pretty interesting one. So Tyler Herro said he doesn't believe in history before 1950. So in a stream, they were discussing Wilt's 100-point game, in which he said he doesn't believe in. And then they started asking him more questions, like if he believed in the moon landing, and he said no. Then they further discuss things like Christopher Columbus selling the ocean blue in 1942, as y'all know. And he said basically all of those things could have been made up. He doesn't believe in it, and the streamers there agreed with him as well. So, Mase, what's your opinion on Tyler's take? What do you think?
You set me up, Stat.
It's trending. I had to ask.
If he doesn't believe before the 1950s, does he believe in slavery would be my question.
They didn't ask him that. I'm sure he believes in that, though.
That's better he didn't ask him that.
You really want to go viral?
Yeah.
Tyler Herro, answer this question. If you don't believe in anything before the 1950s, do you believe in slavery? That's what I would have asked.
Nice bitch. No, that's 100% correct. Listen, see, my question is, I would like to know how old his parents is, Tyler Herro's parents, and then his grandparents. Because my grandma was born like 1932 or some shit like that. So what, she wasn't born? I don't understand what that means, not believing before 1950. So 1939 didn't exist, or 1942 didn't exist. Some people just be saying ignorant shit. But at the same time, maybe he just means monumental moments he doesn't believe. That's what he may mean. Because I remember Murder telling me his son told him, how do y'all believe anything before the internet? And I was like, that's how they think, younger people.
So just to add to what you said, I searched, his parents are like around 50, 55 range. I don't know.
So that means his grandmother was born before 1950.
Yeah.
So what are you talking about?
I'm not a fan of saying things like that on the internet because some people are really going to believe that stuff. And I'm just like, I don't know. I just liked it better when some people did say certain things.
No, I agree with you.
Even though that's my team, but nah, like we're not doing that. Sounds silly. And you're right. They didn't ask him the right questions about the slavery thing. So
exactly.
I don't know, y'all. Well, that is all the time that we have for today. Thank y'all for watching. And as always, it is what it is.
What you want, nigga? Everything, nigga, super size. Two Big Macs, like when they doing them 2 for $5.